Hello everyone. Welcome to the Book Circle family. I, Ranjita, am your guide to introduce the magical world of books and reading to all your kids. Looking forward to building more budding bookworms in this community. Hope you all have a wonderful time reading this story to your kids. Curious George and the Pizza Party. Little George was very excited for the pizza party that he had been invited to. But what did he do there? Was he a good little monkey or a curious little monkey like always? Join us to read and find out. George was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today, he wasn't just curious, he was excited. So excited, in fact, that he was turning flips and standing on his head. A little girl in George's building had invited him to her pizza party. George had never been to a pizza party before, but he loved parties. He loved pizza, so he knew it had to be good. George, it's time for the pizza party, said the man with the yellow hat. Have fun and remember to be on your best behavior. George got to the party in perfect time. Hi, George, called out the little girl. But oh, what was all of this? The children were wearing puffy white chef's hats and checkered aprons. George got a hat and an apron too. The best was yet to come. They weren't just going to eat pizza, they were going to make it too. Everyone will get a piece of pizza dough to roll out and make a special pizza, explained the girl's mother. There were many little lumps of dough. But first, let's play some games, she said. Everyone went into the living room to play pin the pepperoni on the pizza. Everyone, that is, except George. He was curious about those pieces of dough. George thought and thought. If lots of little pieces of dough were good, maybe one huge one would be even better. He gathered the lumps of dough together and squished and squashed them until they became the very biggest piece of dough he had ever seen. What fun! Maybe rolling it out would be even more fun. George poured flour out on the table and he rolled and rolled and rolled the dough with a rolling pin. It was messy work. First he bumped over one of his chairs, then he knocked over the sack of flour. The flour looked like snow lying on the floor of the kitchen. George liked snow though, so he didn't mind at all. Soon he had gotten the dough nice and thin. But the thinner it got, the farther it spread out. Before he knew, the dough covered the table, the chairs, and then George. Without the flour, it started to stick to everything, including George. George stopped to think. Maybe the dough was better off in small pieces after all. George got a pair of scissors and began cutting up the dough into lots of different shapes. He thought everyone would be pleased with him. George, what have you done to the kitchen? The little girl's mother didn't look very happy. I think it's time for you to go home now. How surprised and sad George was. Just then, the children burst into the kitchen and saw the mess that George had made. George, what happened? Asked one boy. The other children looked at the shapes George had made with wide eyes. Wow, George, I've never seen pizza dough like that before, said the little girl smiling. Well, said her mother, if you can clean up this mess quickly, George, I suppose you can stay till you make pizza. The children all helped George clean the kitchen. He was lucky to have so many good friends. As they worked, they talked about the pizza. I'm going to make a pizza that looks like a star, said one little boy. And I'm going to make one that looks like a house, said another girl. Once the kitchen was clean, the real fun began. All of the children picked out perfect pieces of dough and got to work. They spooned on tomato sauce and sprinkled on cheese. They added lots of vegetables and pepperoni. The pizzas looked wonderful. One looked like a rainbow, another like a stop sign, and still another like a balloon. There was even a pizza that looked curiously a little like George. Well, George, said the little girl's mother, the pizzas taste great, and thanks to you, they look wonderful too. Everyone agreed it was the best pizza anyone had ever seen or tasted. For the second time that day, George was so happy that he turned flips and stood on his head. Of course, it was a little harder to turn flips with so much pizza in his belly. But George didn't mind. It had been a wonderful pizza party. So, kids, hope you all enjoyed this story about George and how he made the pizza party a grand success. Thank you for listening. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit on the notification